If you are looking to brush up on your fish skills and knowledge, then stick around because in this episode we are going to learn a lot. All thanks to our guest today, Annie, who is the owner of My Fish Kitchen based in Cornwall. Thank you very much for coming on.
Hello.
That was very formal.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.
Before we get cracking into the preparation, I think could we talk about what to look for when choosing fish?
Yeah, of course.
Little pointers.
Yeah. Well, firstly, welcome to My Fish Kitchen.
Thank you very much.
And can I just say I'm a fishmonger by trade.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not a chef. So this is all home cooking and little tips about how to get the best from your Cornish fish. So at the age of 19, I started a door-to-door fish round and eventually sold that to my cousin, David Seabourne, who's got a fabulous fish shop in Penryn. I'm pointing that way, Penryn. And then I went on, got married, had children. They went to the village school. We're in Morton Smith. And friends came for supper. And they were chatting away, eating away, some pan-fried sole fillets.
Nice.
And I said, well, you must cook like this at home. And they said, no, we wouldn't have a clue. So that gave me an idea of teaching. And that was nearly 20 years ago. So this year, I've been in the fishing industry for 40 years.
40 years in the fish?
40
wow.
years, yeah. So I'm 59 now. Started when I was 19.
No way.
Yeah.
So a lot of knowledge.
So, well, you always learn. There's always room for
Oh,
learning.
definitely.
Yeah, but I love teaching. And my underlying passion is to get people into the fishmongers, Cornish fishmongers, and supporting fishmongers also supports the Cornish fishermen, which is, my underlying
Very close
passion.
to you, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
And getting people to eat more fish. And people come here and 9 times out of 10, they'll say to me, I eat fish in a restaurant or I eat fish abroad, but I don't cook it enough at home. And that's when people come and see me. And I teach them how to quality assess, how to shop, how to store, how to cook stock, how to cook fish, and how to eat it sometimes, because I like to rest fish before we eat it, etc.
Like you do with meat, like steak, you have to rest it just to...
Lots of little tips for people to have the confidence to bring more fish into their home kitchen. I mean, my fish pie takes 10 minutes, but I'm not going to tell you how you've...
I'm really intrigued. Oh, you have to attend the course. Okay. We'll leave the link for Annie's courses in the description below.
Oh, thank you.
Right. So, pointers on what to look for when choosing fish.
Yeah. Should we have a look at...
Okay.
So, do you know what this is, Dan?
Sole?
Yeah, what type?
Megrim?
Yes.
Yeah, still got a bit of knowledge.
So, megrim sole, the most abundantly landed fish in Cornwall, really, especially flatfish. It's one of my favourite. Before we do anything, just look at the bone structure. I mean, awkward does that look? Quality-wise, I don't ever look at the eyes. People say fish have got to have bright eyes. Well, it's good if they do, but if they don't, you've got to just check the quality of the flesh. So you can see here, around the back of the head here is really nice and plump, okay? I have just washed this fish, but I can still feel the slime is working on this, okay? And it's nice and plump. Megrim and hake are the softer, when they're not cooked, when they're raw, the softer fleshed fish, okay? So when you press down, it's my fingers making an indentation, but in time that will rise up. And look, around the tail, it's really nice and firm. So this is naturally, when it's raw, a nice soft flesh, okay? So I'm going to fillet this, and I want to pan fry it for you. But so before I fillet a megrim sole, and this is the only flatfish I do it with, I descale. So you will see here, I'm coming up against the grain, just very gently with the middle of the knife, the blunt edge of the knife, and I lift the head, and with the tip, I just come up the edge of that fish. I'm doing it all out. And do you know why I'm taking these scales off? Because look at all that moisture in the scales. So I want the skin to crisp when I fry this. So look at all the scales there. And that they all hold moisture. And this is the detail I teach in. So it's really, my teaching is all quite logical. Let's get rid of the scales. so that we get rid of the moisture that's on top of that fish. And then we do the other side. I mean, look at that. It's lovely and plump. I always go up from the tail. You can get the descalers, the fish descalers. And some people, if this was a bass or a red mullet and you had to descale it, pop it in a carrier bag. And then it saves all the scales flying all over your kitchen. So, there we are. That's most of the scales off, okay? And actually, when we take the scales off, I can still feel there's a nice bit of slime there on the fish. So, the meat on a megrim sole and a flatfish goes right the way around the back of the head. Okay, so I want to get my blade as far behind the head as I can, and then I poke it through the other side, and just having a look in here at the cavity. So all flatfish are gutted on board the boat, but look at the blood. The blood is a good colour. Blood on fish needs to be red. If it's not red, then that is a sign of ageing. So I'm pleased with the cavity there. And look, where I've cut here, the blood vessels have been nicked, just there. So that blood is still flowing. And this is the beginning of the fish here, the fin, all right? That's where the bone structure starts and travels all the way through the fish. Every fish, so we have over 50 varieties of fish in Cornwall. Every fish, flesh and bone structure are different. So when I go into to fillet this megrim, the bones are quite gappy. In a lemon sole and say a plaice, for instance, the bones are quite tight. So if I go in and catch the bone, I just bring the blade bring the blade back and keep it flat. So in the middle here is the bone structure. I'm going in just above that centre bone, and I'm coming out to that lovely guideline, just the edge, keeping the blade flat and just bringing it back towards me at this stage. And then we open up and see where we've come in. Can you see that bone structure? They're quite wide, the bones. So this was a female fish, is a female fish, and it's released its roe, which is good, because look, that sac of eggs is empty, so you can tell that it's spawned. So it's what we call spent. Okay, there's the roe, we'll get rid of that. So that's spent. And then I go up to the vertebrae. The vertebrae of a megrim sole is quite spiky on the top. So I go up to the vertebrae and then I'm gliding with the blade. Can you see I'm catching on the bone there? That's quite normal with megrim because of the gappiness of the bones. You can see it quite close up. I've caught a bone there. Then I go up to the vertebrae. Then I just glide with this blade right the way through at the tail end. Then up to the vertebrae. And actually with a megrim sole, this is so beautiful, nice and meaty. You can sort of peel it up just above where that spike is on the backbone. Then I'm going across the tail on the other side. And then with the tip of the blade, I'm just literally, can you see the angle of the blade is changing? I'm literally just tweaking the tip of that blade all the way up to the very back of the head, like so. And there's a tiny rib bone here, so I try and sort of guide that tip over that rib bone, like so, to the very back of the head. But look, can you see how soft this flesh is? It's really delicate. And not everyone likes filleting megrim because that bone structure comes apart quite easy. So now we're on the other side. So you turn your flatfish, and this is the nicest part. So I put a bit of pressure on the blade. I come all the way down. I'm collecting under that meat. But look at the pressure in my right hand. I'm just gliding down that fish. Then I do the skin cut. Can you see? Skin cut there, and I'm coming all the way down, like so, onto that line. Nice guideline there. And there's your beautiful fillet. Look at that. So let me just hold that backbone up. Can you see what I mean? how high that is and spiky. It's an amazing bone structure. So this is all fresh. I would cook it like this. But here's where the cavity was, where the gut was. So I just want, and there's a little bit of bone there. So I'm just coming underneath at an angle there. Take that little bit of bone away. And then I'm just going to tidy up that fillet. Like so. And that looks a bit better, doesn't it? About that part.
That's so neat.
Just check for bone.
That is beautiful.
Well, I've been doing it a few years. And then look, that one bone I caught while filleting, I just take that away. Okay? And that's it. It should be boneless. So that's one side done. And then we just do exactly the same on the other side. So the underside of a flatfish is always slightly thinner. So it's slightly harder to do. You've just got to keep that blade close to the bone. And now note how gentle I am with my left hand. And I'm just gliding through there. And there, the backbone here is not spiky, it's a smooth backbone. But look, you can see it's so easy for that blade to go through the bone. And that is why you've got to keep that blade nice and flat and just glide through. A lot of people come in the kitchen and they start sawing. The smoother you fillet, the better, because then you don't recut the flesh. And it's all about appearance, isn't it, when you're serving the fish? Yeah. So there, across the tail, and then watch this, it's so different this side. You just literally glide up that backbone, like so, over that little rib cage, and then down like so. Okay, all the way through. Little bit of skin cut there. I'm catching the bone, can you see?
Oh yeah.
That's better. And there's your other fillet. Really nice. And that's the empty sack of eggs there. So I'm going to leave that on. That's clean, it's absolutely fine. So if these fillets were on the slab to buy, usually most flatfish on the slab at the fishmongers is whole. But if ever you see fillets, always look for just a little sign of blood. Even that tiny blood vessel there. It's a lovely colour. Okay, there's a good sign there of freshness. And all of this meat that will eventually flake when you cook it, you can see there. It's all intact. There's no gapping. You can see the moisture there that's in that fillet. So that quality is absolutely superb. So I'll just portion these fillets up. Okay, so in here is a wholemeal flour. All we're going to do is pan fry these fillets in my nice pan that's got sunflower oil in. Sunflower oil is, I use organic. It's there to cook, it's not part of the dish, okay? So we want it hot and we want to crisp the skin on these. All I do, this is wet fish, and I just dab these fillets with the wholemeal flour. So, wholemeal flour is a revelation to pan frying fish. If you use white flour and you're watching your fish cook, you're waiting for that flour to change colour, to go a nice brown colour, and you have a chance of overcooking the fish. If you overcook fish, you lose the moisture, which it leads to losing the sweetness, okay? If you use a wholemeal flour, you get an instant result. There's an instant colour. You don't have to worry about browning, okay? You just keep an eye on the flesh so you don't overcook it. So I've just put the oil on. Every time I cook, I preheat. Whether it's a grill, whether it's liquid, whether it's oil, I always preheat, or the oven. So I preheat because then as soon as that fish goes into the pan, into that lovely oil, it starts to cook and it starts to seal in all that flavour. Okay? And also, I keep the pan still. When you've got oil covering the pan, you don't want to move it because you'll wash away the flour. So, come over here. This is my little Cristal pan. It's from France. It's a posh one. But I've waited 20 years to get it. And I absolutely love it. So that's quite exciting for me. And little tip, sprinkle your flour in. As soon as that starts to cook and fizz, that's a sign where the temperature is good. So using oil. So I use this oil at the beginning of the week. So I will reuse fish oil, call it fish oil once it's had fish in it. But not for long and only for fish, okay? A few days it keeps in the pan. So I'm just laying down these fillets, okay? Always skin side, and that's starting to cook straight away. So in we go. Because this fish is cold, so I just put them in nice and slow because I want the temperature of the oil to stay nice and hot. You can bring your fish out of the fridge before you cook it for at least 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, so that it comes up in temperature a little bit. That way the oil stays hotter as soon as you pop that in. And that's it. And come and look. Around the edge, you can see that wholemeal flour gives a lovely colour. So what happens with the heat? It's an even heat going up through that fillet. So I can see that it's quite white underneath here. It's gone up about halfway through. It's cooked here, okay? And you'll be left with a little opaque bit of flesh. You have to look under the flour as such. And in a minute we'll turn that over because you can see the flour that's washed off is burning. So I'll turn that down just a little bit. Flip it over and look at that skin. Like so. And this is a good pan, it's retained the heat. So I'll just turn the ring off now. And just get a little bit of oil underneath the flesh side. Look at the colour of that skin. Isn't that nice?
That is beautiful.
I just tweak the meaty part onto the surface and we're done. So not really that long on the flesh side because there's a lot of heat in that pan, and once you turn those little fillets there's no protection with the skin. Now we let them rest, but have a look at the underside. Beautiful colour. Look at them. So we'll give that 2 minutes to rest, a couple of minutes to rest, and then I'm going to show you how to identify that that fish is actually cooked, which is interesting. So chefs in the restaurants, they'll use a little probe to check that it's cooked all the way through, okay? Some people like their fish really cooked quite well. I like it cooked so it's soft and it's the moisture's in there, and so you get the sweetness and all the goodness. Because I always think about it logically. You think about how they eat fish in Japan, it's all raw. So if your fish is slightly under, it's fine, it's not going to harm you. But we do tend to like it cooked all the way through, because that's how we're brought up with fish, okay? So how do we know this is cooked? Let me just show you. So I'm going to lift the fillet and watch what happens. That just comes away from the skin. And look how white that is. So that's cooked. So when you rest fish, the hotter it is, the less flavour it has. When you rest it and it comes down in temperature, it's a totally different fish. So I teach really technique for the type of fish rather than recipe, okay? So I would never do this, say for instance, a mackerel fillet. I would never cook mackerel like this, okay? So the technique I use for flatfish fillets, because they're nice and slim as well, it just suits this cooking technique.
I'm really looking forward to this.
See what you think. And this is what started my fish kitchen.
I also like the pointer how you gave about how when the fish comes away from the skin, it's done, and not to overcook it. Because I think people get so worried about it being underdone. They just blast it.
But I'm the same with chicken.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. I'll probably overcook it thinking, oh, just in case. But with fish, I'm not usually on this side. It's really
I bet it's nice to have a sit down. And
yeah. I mean, look how meaty
that's
that
so
megrim is.
good. That's a real beautiful kind of sized fish, isn't it?
Just
so much meat
stunning.
on it. Its natural flavour is just so strong, isn't it? I think that's why it's so popular in so many kitchens.
So some restaurants would put this out as Cornish sole. Because megrim is a bit... What is it? I go down to Nice and teach with a lady called Rosa Jackson, Petit Fussy, and we take a 3-day fish camp, group of 8 people, up to the markets, meet a fisherman, up to the markets again. They get through about 13 types of fish.
Wow.
And it's fabulous, yeah. So the style of dining down there, you've got the old French restaurants, and they're fabulous. The cooking is just incredible. But I literally work with about, excuse me, I'm letting the doggy out. I work with about 20 types of fish in Nice that we have home here as well.
Oh, wow. Have you learnt a few things from being over there as well?
Oh, yeah. So Rosa works alongside me, and she will cook the most amazing vegetable dishes and salads. She makes a lemon tart using just olive oil. She's an all-round cook. If you said to me, Annie, come on, knock me up a cake, I wouldn't be able to do it. I just teach fish. Rosa's an all-round cook, and she's been a restaurant critic in Paris. Yeah. She does food tours. She's in Morocco at the moment as we speak. Yeah. She takes people to Japan. So that is Petit Farci. If you look up cookery schools in Nice, Rosa comes up. And we're based in the old town.
Nice. No way. We were literally there not long ago. Amazing. Well, again, for the link for that, I'll try and put that in the description of this video. I didn't hang about. That's been really, really interesting, and I really appreciate your time. And hopefully a lot of people who've watched this would have learned a lot, and potentially will book onto your course.
Thank you.
Which we'll leave the link for in the description below. And if you're looking to upgrade your kitchenware, then head over to our website, which is also in the link in the description. Anyway, thank you very much
Thank you
for
so
coming on,
much
Annie. It's
for
been
having
really
me,
good fun.
and thank you all for watching, and keep eating Cornish fish.
Yes, love that.